If you've ever wondered, even with everything going on in the world today, feminine wisdom is not lost. It might have been pushed down, talked over, and reshaped to fit someone else's mold, but it's still there. And it's time we stop pretending we can live without it. Welcome to Hearth Talks. I'm Diane Hatz, and this is a place for women in transition to find clarity, courage, and community. Whether you're starting over, shedding an old identity, or just waking up to parts of yourself that were always there, you're in the right place. Today, we're talking about feminine wisdom and the patriarchy, what those words actually mean, why they matter, and how we can reclaim something that was never truly gone. For thousands of years, dominant systems have treated logic, control, and individualism as the gold standard, while dismissing intuition, emotion, creativity, and connection. That's patriarchy. It's not just men in charge. It's a system that decides what has value and what doesn't. And frankly, for most of us, that's been white men. And a woman's way of knowing and ways of leading, relating, and sensing have often been left out of that equation. According to historian Gerda Lerner, in The Creation of Patriarchy, this system began over 5,000 years ago, intentionally shaping society in ways that sidelined feminine insight. Fast forward to now, and we still see it. A 2023 leanin.org report, this is ex-Facebook Sheryl Sandberg's organization, it showed that women make up over half the workforce, but hold only 10% of Fortune 500 CEO roles. That gap isn't about talent. It's about who gets chosen and what gets rewarded and what still gets ignored. This didn't happen by accident. Patriarchal systems are designed to reinforce themselves. They teach us early on what's good and what's weak. We internalize those messages, even when we think we're above them. According to a 2016 study published in AERA Open, teachers often unconsciously favor boys by giving them more attention and rating them as more proficient, especially in subjects like math, even when girls perform the same. In fact, the study found that as early as first grade, teachers consistently rated boys' math abilities higher than those of girls, despite both genders having the same achievement and learning behaviors. We women eventually learn not to trust our gut. And I can give you an example. When I was this was in high school, I got into an advanced, I think it was astronomy class, but it was considered an advanced course because I was interested in becoming a quantum physicist. And it was me and like 6 boys. And the teacher, white male, came up to me and said, girls can't do math. So I dropped it, and that was it. And I believed him. So I do hope that with the work being done with STEM, and especially STEAM, that extra A means art, but there's becoming more attention paid to women, and their equal capabilities in doing science and the math. But you know what happens? We're told we're too emotional, we're too sensitive, and we're too much from both men and women. And over time, we disconnect from the very parts of ourselves that are there to guide us. This happens in small ways, like second guessing your instincts in a meeting. I can tell you it's another school example I just thought of. This was also, I don't know, junior high or high school. We were doing a math. It was like a challenge. So the whole class was given multiplication, just multiplication to do. And then, whoever raised their hand first and was right was the winner. Well, I had figured out a way to I forget it now, but you cross this way, and add something. You can get the answer much quicker. I purposely kept my hand down until the quarterback not the quarterback, he's one of those football players, raised his hand. And then I would raise my hand because, yeah, I was told that, I'm a girl, got to take back seat to the boys. Anyway, what also happens, we stay, well, I just explained this. We stay silent when something feels wrong because you don't want to be labeled difficult. And trust me, I have been labeled difficult because when I do speak my mind, people don't like it. And if you have power and you stand in your power, it will threaten people. But I think as women, we just need to stop We need to stop caring. You can be compassionate, you can be caring, but I do think it's time we stop bending over and allowing other people to take the limelight or to get the answer or to get the job or to get the promotion because we've been conditioned to be less than. No, this is done. I also want to point out that patriarchy is not just about women. It harms everybody. It limits men, it flattens relationships, and it creates cultures where power is hoarded instead of shared. Just turn on the news and you'll find examples of that. But women, especially those of us in transition, often feel the weight of it most. Feminine wisdom is not soft or sentimental. It's fierce, it's discerning, and it's deeply needed, especially today. When we talk about archetypes, the healer, the visionary, the truth teller, we're not invoking fantasy. We're talking about the kinds of wisdom that have always been part of human survival, the kinds of knowing that live in our bodies, our stories, our art, and our lineages. Reclaiming that doesn't mean rejecting logic or structure. It means refusing to let those be the only things that matter. It means allowing both logic and intuition, strength and softness, action and rest to belong. It also means allowing women to have an equal voice and opportunity. So, what does reclaiming feminine wisdom look like in your life? Some suggestions. First, trust yourself. Even when it's inconvenient, trust yourself. Your intuition isn't some mystical thing and it's not woo. It's your brain, your body, and past experiences all speaking at once. Listen and give it the weight and attention it deserves. Second, start rebuilding your creative muscle. What form of creativity are you called to? Writing, art, music, gardening, cooking. There are so many ways to express yourself. Journal, walk, write messy first drafts. If you watch my videos, you know these are my books behind me. Trust me, my first 4 or 5 drafts are a mess, but I do it and I'm keeping on doing. And I don't care if I'm not selling many books. I've won awards. And frankly, just the fact that I publish them, and I'm proud to say I publish them myself and I'm marketing them myself, that's the success. So let something flow from you without worrying about perfection or what other people think. Our creativity is our strength. Find out how you like or need to express yourself and go do it. So what is it for you? Like I said, mine's writing fiction, and we'll see if it's this video podcast. So next, find or build community, a real community. Look for create spaces where you don't have to explain yourself to be understood, where being uncertain isn't seen as a weakness, but as part of being alive and awake. Look for other people where you can ask the deeper questions of life without being shut down or redirected. You can do it in mixed company, but to start at least, I suggest you find or start a women's group. What I did a few months ago, I started Women's Writers in the Wild. I'm doing it just word of mouth. Once a month, we meet out in the desert. I have a portable microphone and speaker. I set it up in the sand, and we all just read a few minutes of our work. And what's been great, originally the whole plan was to dance after so we could get movement in. But we've been so moved by each other's writing that we've just hung out and talked for hours after. And that's where we can rebuild ourselves. That's where we can rediscover ourselves in community with other women. So in a culture shaped by patriarchy, we've been taught that certainty, control, and performance are signs of strength, and that doubt or vulnerability makes us less credible. And frankly, that's bullshit. And that's a lie. Real feminine wisdom lives in the spaces in between the two, in nuance, in curiosity, in connection. That's why we need each other, not to fix or to rescue, but to reflect and to remind and to hold space for. Having someone say, I hear you, and not trying to fix you, but just to listen, to truly listen to you, that many times is enough. And when you're ready, speak your truth, especially when it's scary. Say the thing you've been holding back. Share what you know, even if your voice shakes. Most of the women who've been to my Women's Writer in the Wild event, and this includes me, have stood at the mic in the middle of the desert, voice and knees shaking. This last one we just had, there was a new person who joined us, and she was literally shaking. And that's the point, is to get us out in public in front of each other, because a lot of us have never really been supported, and everyone who's there is just there to support. We don't allow comments or feedback unless the person asks for it after, but it's just to speak your mind. And this is making us all stronger. Tell the truth about your experiences in order to connect. I guarantee you, whatever you've been through, you're not alone. All of our stories hold power. And when you speak it out loud, you're not just reclaiming your voice, you're giving others permission to do the same. So if you're moved to journal, try to answer this question. What part of your wisdom have you been taught to doubt? And what might change in your life if you trusted it again? Thanks for being here. This is all layered and personal, and sometimes it's messy and painful. And trust me, I have been through the mess. I have been through the pain. I have just basically stripped myself bare, and I am putting myself back together. And now I have reached a point where I'm so glad I did this. It is hard. You have to find other people to support you and to stand with you. But this is the only life that I can live. All of our voices matter. Remember that your voice matters. All of our voices matters. So please subscribe if you want to stay in touch, and share what you're thinking in the comments. I'd love to know. Just remember, you are not alone. So until next time, man, rage against that machine. Thank you.